Okay, you've been on Reddit for a while and you see all the memes out here, whether they're a static meme like these here. You see some memes and you want to do some yourself, but you don't want to go to a website to do it. You don't want to download a piece of programming from somewhere, but you have Office. Yeah, maybe you have the family version where everybody in the family has it for like $99 a year, the personal for only $69, or a student one. But you've noticed here, PowerPoint is listed on each one of these as an app, so you have it. So I'm going to use PowerPoint to create a meme using one of the earlier popular memes on the internet, the Wandering Eye Boyfriend. So let's get started. So here I've opened PowerPoint with a default blank canvas. I'm going to get rid of these sections here. You can use them or you can I'm going to discard them just to have a blank slate to begin with. Now I've already got the picture downloaded to my hard drive, but you can use the insert picture function from the internet, your device, wherever, to embed a picture into your meme. So I've already stored it here in this particular directory. There it is. Now this is the actual full photo, but guess what? PowerPoint can crop photos as well. In fact, there's a bunch of different effects you can use, but we're going to use the crop here. So I'm going to go ahead and find the bottom of this, and I'm going to slide up the crop marks here until we have what we want. And then I simply click somewhere else, and now I have it cropped correctly. And then I'm going to stretch it to cover the entire canvas. Now, PowerPoint is a presentation tool, and it has powerful text editing features. And we're going to go ahead and do I'll go back to the home, and we're going to say insert, but we're going to say a text box. And I'm going to install the standard white background with black text. So once I've clicked on an area, the box appears. I just start typing in whatever I want to say. And here is my text. My text. And then once I'm satisfied with that, I can resize this and do a bunch of different things. Once I have it completely selected, I can right-click on it, and then I can just use any of these editing controls. And I'm just going to bump it up until I see it the right size rather than using the actual font number size. So here's my text I think I want. So I got it the right size. Now I want to right-click again. I'm going to choose the background and change it. And then, by the way, if you go up here, you'll see different effects up here that you can do. And you'll notice here there's a fill right there. There it's a white background, or you can change it to whatever you want. Click on the one you want, and there it is. I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to overlay the top of the image with my text box. And once I get it up there and I see what size it is and I want to change my witty remark, I can just click on it again and just start editing right where I left off, and it'll change the text that's being displayed. And if I don't want it at the top, once I do it, I can just click on the box itself again on the edge and drag it wherever I want. I can resize it. The text will wrap. The background will stay the same. And there's where I want it. And once I have it there, maybe I want it to say something different. I want it to identify the guy in the picture as me. Again, using PowerPoint's robust controls for text editing, I can highlight that, change it however I want. And maybe I don't want that fill anymore. Maybe I want it to be transparent. Okay, but then I can't see the text that well, and I want to change the text again. And go back in and bump up the size and resize the box. And keep playing with it until it's exactly the way you want it. So here it is, what I think I want. But you know what? I want that black outline that people use. So I'm going to right-click on here and go over here to the text effects and format the shape. Click here on the text itself, and then I'm going to go to the outline, click on the outline, change the color to black, and you'll see here the thickness of it, and you'll see the black start to appear around the text. But then I look at it and I say, it isn't quite right. It's too much black. The letters aren't thick enough. So what do I do about that? Well, you use your usual text editing stuff in PowerPoint. You can right-click on it, but we're going to go over here to the font list there, and you'll see all your installed fonts are here. Now I've got hundreds because I have years and years of fonts on my system, but you notice that as I hover over one, the font changes. So you can play around with this until you find one that you like. And there's one there, thick with a black border. So now that you think you're decided on your font and the color and the outline and all that, you don't want to have to recreate this every time. So I'm going to right click on this box and copy the box. And I'm going to say copy. And then I'm going to come over somewhere else and just right click and say paste. And make sure I do that. And there it is. I can drag it somewhere else and start editing it there. Now I'm just going to go in here and just start typing stuff. And it's going to automatically keep the width it's at and just start adding letters. And it doesn't make any difference. I don't care how big it gets. But once you got what you want, then you can simply go in here and change the font size that way, or by selecting this particular font. But there we are. I have another box using the same font and size. But now it looks a little funny because the letters aren't all capitalized or whatever. So maybe I want to change it again, make it look differently. Maybe I want to add an emphasis for this particular entry. Just go in there and edit whatever you want. Change colors, sizes, whatever. So I've got that one done for now. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy the box and right click on it and say copy. And then I'm going to paste it in over here. Say paste. And I'm going to drag it over to the other girl and change this to some other text. Okay, and I just highlight it and then just start typing and say the new car model that just came out. Now this is where I would probably tweak my meaning of the meme, where the message is getting across. You can see what it's trying to say. You can always reformat the letters and all that later, but once you have the idea of the meme presented, then you can tweak it to make it look better and better. So now that I do that, I wanted to make this new car model look better than the old car model, so I'm going to use a different or more fancy font. So I scroll down here until I find one that makes it appear that this is a little snazzier than the old model. By the way, ladies, this is just a meme. My apologies. It's about cars, not you ladies. But again, I just go down my list until I find one that I think I like. That makes it appear to be a little more modern. I could change the other girl back to a maybe a Roaring 20s type of font as well. So I'll sit there and look, and there, I'll just use this one. Now, I'm not entirely happy with this, but let me show you how to save your meme in a JPEG format right now. Just go up here to File, and you go down here to Export. There is another way, but this is the way I use Export. And you notice there's different types, but it's just choose File Type. And you see here there's all different kind of file types. But what we want to use for a JPEG, okay, we want to click over here and just say that, highlight that, and then click Save As. It'll come up with a dialog box where you can name your file to be saved. Now PowerPoint will save it, but when you do save it, it wants to know whether or not you want just one slide or the entire slides in your set. In this particular one here, I only have one slide, but it'll still prompt me and ask me when I say save, it'll ask me if I want to do all the slides. If I do all the slides will be rendered as JPEGs. Okay, but I'm just going to do this one. Some people love them, some people hate them, but animated memes are here. And in case you want to make some, let's talk about that. So I have my basic slide here, and I'm ready. I want to add in some animation. Now PowerPoint, being a presentation tool, allows you to animate any object on your screen, photos, text, whatever, and a whole bunch of different types of animations. So let's take a look. If you look here, and if I highlight one of them, there's a bunch that show up here. If you click on them, you'll see that automatically applied the animation to it. So to keep track of everything, we can come over here to the animation pane, and you can see exactly which animation is applied to which object. And so we're right here, and you can replay them. You can also go use this drop down to change the different directions this comes in from, along with other options as well. And there's a ton more detail if we decide we want to click on this animation here and go in here to settings. A pop-up will appear, a dialog box, and you can change all sorts of delays, direction, you name it, timing, how long it takes. You can even delay it from happening. You can have the duration. All those things are editable within this dialog box. So once I have that, I click on OK, and there it is. It's a little slower than I wanted to, so I can go back in again and I can select it and change it. By the way, you can just hover over the end here and slide it that way to change the duration right there. So then I can replay it, and there it is. Still a little slow, but I can, again, change it some more. So slide over that, then I can click on play again, and boom, until you get it to where you want it. So let's say we're there, we got what we want to do a different one. So let's highlight the other text over here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up here, and you know what, maybe I don't like that text. So I'm going to go over here again and click here and say, and change it to a different style again. So it's easier to read. That seems to be somewhat okay. So here it is after I fiddled around. Yes, fiddled around, that's an old guy term. With that to make it the way I want it, a new modern font. Okay, sorry for the squirrel moment. Back to animations. We click on the text. We choose a fly in or however, just an appear. It'll fade in. We can use this. We can play from a specific step you can choose, or you can play them all. If you click there and you say, oh, there's me, and then that one appears. A little fast. So we're going to tweak those settings. Different animations have different settings. So if I do the same thing here, I can change the timing, blah, 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 and do whatever I want to make it look the way I want and have it appear when I want it to appear. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm going to work on the third one. Once that's in what I want it, click over here and I can add another animation for that. And so I can sequence these in a way I want them to appear on the screen. So now I can apply the delays and whatever to the third animation, all the tweaks that I can do to it to make it do what I want it to do and when. And then I can do one final test and run through the animation. Let's say play all, and they come in, out comes in, and the new car model, and then the old car model has a reaction like, what? Well, it looks pretty good, but there's so many options you can play forever. For example, you can have more than one animation on an object. You'll notice that next to each one, they have a little number of it compared to what animation it is. But if I want to click one, I want to click not on the top, but I want to click on Add Animation. And whatever one's highlighted, when you open this up and click on it, it adds a separate animation to the list of animations. It does not replace the existing one in that object. Okay, so there it is. So after even more fiddling, I'm going to go ahead and select one. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say Color Pulse. I'm going to click on that, okay, to add that to that particular object. Well, you know, maybe, yeah, we'll try this. Anyway, you see the color change for me. So I can click on this and change the color to another color, like red blood flowing through his veins. And I'm going to go ahead and change that as well. And everything for now, it's okay. So I'm going to say okay. And you'll see that it's color change. So if we go back and we can rerun this and see what happens. So let's go ahead and play from the beginning. Play all. Click down here, me, car, new car. I changed to red, and then the other car gets jealous. So after playing with some settings and reorganizing things in certain sequence, there's the me coming in, the new car model. I start turn red and I start pumping my heart, you know, and then the other car comes in. So there's my meme. So what good is an animated meme if you can't use it? So I'm going to go back to the export, but this time I'm going to say create an animated GIF instead of a video. We're going to get to video in a minute. We're going to go here, and by the way, there's a slide length here, so you want to change that to a longer length than 1 second. But we're going to go here and we're going to choose one of these formats depending upon where you're publishing it to. I would recommend either medium or maybe even large, but we're going to use medium for right now. And I'm going to change this length up to a longer length because we have certain time frames for the video, how long it takes for the animations. So I export it with its own name. And by the way, you look at the bottom down here, you'll see that it's a little progress bar. On these, it's pretty quick. On videos, it takes longer, but it'll eventually write out the file. So let's go take a look at the actual file it created. So let me bring up my Explorer here and go to desktop. Let's go to this folder, and I'm going to sort by most recent. Let me go over here, last modified, and there it is. So we're just going to double click on it, and it'll open it up in the photo app. And there it is. There's the animation, me, the new car, I get all excited, and the other car is looking at me like, WTF. Oh, but it didn't. It repeated without having it. So that means that save time that was in the save file, the export, has to be adjusted. So I go back to PowerPoint. Let me close this down. Go back to PowerPoint, and I'm going to do the export again. And I'm going to, when I go there, I'm going to go to File, Export, and there it is. Change that to a different value. So I do another one, save it with the same name, overwrite it, and then I test it again. And you just do this until your animation is appearing just the way you want it in the file. So let's try it one more time. There it is, me. There's the car. There's me going crazy. And dang it, I still didn't do it right. So after I made some adjustments to the actual images, the animations that is, I'm going to go ahead and save this, but I'm going to increase it again and save it again and do that. You might have to have some animations stay on screen longer. That's why I went back and changed those. But once you do, get it all set up and you check your file out, and we got boom, me, car, me flashing, other girl, other car, comes on screen. And then it repeats. So that's basically this animation. And by the way, as I said earlier, you can add as many animations as you want, more things to happen. I did this here. You can go a little crazy. I did one here where the last one comes in and it twirls into place. You know, so play with it until you like your whole selection, your whole animation, and have it just the way you want it. Now in PowerPoint, you can actually add in all sorts of different types of objects, not just text and animate it. So if we come back over here and we say Insert, and we can select things. For example, here are some basic shapes. They're regular black and white text shapes or icons or whatever, and you can insert those. You can format them automatically using some style presentations here. Another type is some black and white type of icons. You can come over here and insert those right there, and you come up with a list of just black and white stuff. You just click on it, and then you can insert it anywhere in your presentation as another type of image, so we can drag it somewhere, and later on we can apply an animation to that as well. Now, PowerPoint is for corporate use normally or business use normally. There are things that you may not need, like these are flowchart type of things for business processes. You could do one, you could click on one and insert it into the object and maybe use it somehow to show progression, but probably not. So let's move on to one that may be a little more fun. You can actually put 3D objects. Now you can import these from Blender and a few other things, but here's some presets that you can use. All of them are listed here, but there's categories. For example, here's an emoji one. I happen to like the one that was shown as the example, but here's a bunch of pre-built emojis that you can use. Bulging eyes might be one. But the one I settled on is down here near the bottom, and there he is. So I'm going to insert that there, and you notice that it has a little icon there, and I can move this around in 3D to position it wherever I want. So now that I have that, I can move this on the presentation. I can resize it dynamically, and still it'll retain its 3D properties where you can move it around. And now that it's placed where I want it, I can apply an animation to it, just like I did anything else. So with that highlighted, I go back to animations, and there's several different ones I want. But I can look here and turntable, and this one here will simply revolve, which is not what I want, but you can sit there and play with all these. So I'm going to go back and choose a different one, and I'm going to choose the swing, which is sort of apropos for this particular one here. But if you look, it swings back and forth and then looks back at the audience. So I think I like this, so I'm going to put it here. By the way, you can have it start out from somewhere else, and you can play it, and it's not quite what I want, so I'm going to put it back to where it was as my standard animation. So let me start over. Let me test over here first. And because the animation is is not adjustable as far as how far it goes. Starts over there, and it doesn't quite work. So let's put it back to where it was and run that animation there. And looks, yeah, works for me. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier, but these get a little confusing with text boxes and all that. There's a way to name those so that you don't lose track of which one you're working on, which one occurs first. So we're going to come over here to the arrange, and at the bottom you'll see here there's the selection pane. If you click on an item here, you can edit it. So if I click on it twice, there it is. I'm going to change this to the name of the object. In this particular case, it's the head. So I'm going to do that on each one. And by the way, if you're using multiple slides and then you copy a slide, the name that will be transferred with it. So it's best you do this on your first slide when you have your initial objects. That way they're named correctly or named all the same throughout your slides. Okay, so here they are all renamed and everything. I can close that panel now. Now I know I can drag these different sequences, but I'll know which one I'm working with at the time, or highlight it and change the parameters, or change the performance of that particular item. Okay, now that I have that out of the way, you can see here how easy they are to track. And we can go ahead and change things again, making sure the timing is down and all those things that you want to make sure before you do your final export. So here I am back at the export function again. Go here. I'm going to save it first. Come over here and say export, and then animated there, same stuff. We click on that. I'm going to overwrite the 3D one here that I created earlier and say save and say yes. And here we go. It's down here creating it. I go back to my Explorer and I click on it to run it. And the new car model that just came out. There it is. Look. So this could be improved. I could put the face up there initially or whatever, but whatever you like, then you're done with your animation. There's one more animation I want to cover so that you can see you can create custom paths. It doesn't have to be one of the ones that they have that are defined here. To do that, we're going to go ahead and do the drop down and look down here near the bottom, and you'll see some other options in motion that follow paths. And you can use any pre-recorded ones. You can go here and select from this text box or this input box and select certain ones. But I'm going to grab this head here, and I'm going to create a custom path. So I'm going to use the drop down and go down here and select a custom path. So let's go here and down here and say custom path. Click on that. You can draw whatever you want for a path like that. Once you get to the end where you want it, you double click and there's your path. And so let's go ahead and try that. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. So how can it get any better? Well, guess what? It can, because PowerPoint has path editing built in. So all you do is you click on the line to highlight it, and then you can right click and you can say edit points, and all of a sudden you'll see all the points. Now I clicked a bunch, so I have a bunch of points here, but then you can drag and move them wherever you want. You can even change the curve on that particular point. So let me find one here, click on that, and there's a curve handle. You can change the curve. You can also move them. You can do all sorts of things to your path until you got it moving exactly like you want. You can delete points, all sorts of things. So you just continue doing whatever you want to until you have your path exactly the way you want it, with either the more points, less points, whatever. And when you're ready, all you do is just retest. And when you retest, if you don't like it, you just go back and do all this again. So that's good enough. So let's go ahead and watch. And we click on play again, and there's the somewhat crazy move there. So you don't have to export as a GIF. Depending upon your platform, you may want to export as a video instead. So you just simply click on create a video. It'll give you the options, full HD or other sizes, okay? and you choose whatever you want. I'm going to go with just the full, and I'm going to put this back up to where I had it before on 10 and say create video, and I'm going to name this final animated, and we're going to go ahead and save it as an MP4 file. If you look down here at the bottom, there it is, creating a file. It takes longer because it's a video than it does for the animated GIF. So here we go. There's 0 bytes so far, and when it's done, it'll refresh. And you'll notice it's a nice little small file, 7700K. And then if we run that video, we get this animation where there's me, the new car model, car I just bought, looking at me. I'm looking. Then back to the audience, like, well, what do you think I should do? So anyway, that's my meme. It serves to show just a few of the options available, creating memes from PowerPoint. You don't have to go to a website, Mematic or anybody else, to create your own powerful memes. Hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video. And if you want to get more, just subscribe to Old Guy Geek. You can also follow me at Facebook or Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video.